Welcome to TruPowur, home of the most powerful marketing tools, training, and technology on planet Earth. Get ready to earn, enjoy, and experience more than you ever dreamed was possible. If you're tired of just getting by and ready to really thrive, then buckle in and listen up. Here's your host, Matt Fox.
All right, welcome everybody. It is July 3rd, noon Central, and we've got an exciting day today because we are about to really blow up the market by introducing something that is just absolutely a game changer, not only for the internet, but for you as an income as well. And we have a guest speaker that we're going to speak to in just a moment. And before I get started, I want to tell you a little bit about this product. And what it does is that it actually increases the IoT network. And if you don't know what the IoT network is, you're using it every day without even knowing it. Yeah, because whether it's your smartphone or your car or your refrigerator or devices all around us, there are more devices on planet Earth that use the IoT than there are people on planet Earth. So I want to take just a moment and share a little video with you that kind of covers what the IoT is about. So give me just 1 second.
The Internet of Things is changing much about the world we live in. From the way we drive to how we make purchases, and even how we get energy for our homes. Sophisticated sensors and chips are embedded in the physical things that surround us, each transmitting valuable data that lets us better understand how these things work and work together. But how exactly do all these devices share such large quantities of data, and how do we put that information to work? Whether we're improving the production of a factory, giving city residents real-time updates on where to park, or monitoring our personal health, it's the common Internet of Things platform that brings this diverse information together and provides the common language for the devices and apps to communicate with each other. The process starts with the devices themselves, which securely communicate with an Internet of Things platform. This platform integrates the data from many devices and applies analytics to share the most valuable data with applications that address industry-specific needs. Let's start with a simple example, a car. After taking a long road trip, Rebecca notices that her check engine light has come on. She knows that she needs to have her car looked at by a mechanic, but is not sure whether it's something minor or something that needs immediate attention. As it turns out, the sensor that triggered Rebecca's check engine light monitors the pressure in her brake line. This sensor is one of many monitoring processes throughout the car, which are constantly communicating with each other. A component in the car called the diagnostic bus gathers the data from all these sensors, then passes it to a gateway in the car. The gateway integrates and sorts the data from the sensors. This way, only the most relevant diagnostic information will be transmitted to the manufacturer's platform. But before sending this organized data, the car's gateway and platform must first register with each other and confirm a secure communication. The platform is constantly gathering and storing thousands of bits of information from Rebecca's car and hundreds of thousands of cars like hers, building an historical record in a secure database. The manufacturer has added rules and logic to the platform. So when Rebecca's car sends a signal that her brake fluid has dropped below a recommended level, the platform triggers an alert in her car. The manufacturer also uses the platform to create and manage applications that solve specific issues. In this case, the manufacturer can deploy an application on the platform called the Asset Management System. This application oversees all of their customers' cars on the road, as well as all the parts in their warehouses. It uses the data from Rebecca's car to offer her a potential appointment time to service her car, directions to the nearest certified dealer, and a coupon for the service. What's more, the app will ensure that Rebecca's brakes are covered under her warranty, that the correct replacement part is ordered, and then sent to the dealership so it is ready when she arrives. But the manufacturer's analysis does not stop there. They have also deployed a continuous engineering application that tracks not only Rebecca's car, but hundreds of thousands of others, looking for ways to improve the design and manufacturing process of the car itself. If the same problem in her brake line crops up in a critical number of other cars, the manufacturer uses applications custom-built for the automobile industry to pinpoint the exact problem. They can see if these cars were made at the same factory, used the same parts, or came off the assembly line on the same day. So what do all these pieces add up to? Streamlined inventory management for the dealer, a better, safer car from the manufacturer, And for Rebecca, it means she can be back on the road faster and get to where she's going safely. All thanks to the Internet of Things.
That's just a little bit to kind of give you an understanding of how the IoT works. Right now, I want to turn the meeting over to a really good friend of mine, a colleague, a VIP, an author, a top-notch salesman that has a huge following of people and has done this business in so many different levels. And so I want to introduce you to my friend, Ed Kenny. Ed, you there?
I sure am. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Awesome. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be on here this morning. I guess it's kind of noon where most of you guys are, and I'm on the East Coast in Baltimore, Maryland. So it's 1 o'clock here. So first of all, I want to say just how grateful I am to have our relationship, because you've got something really special, and the people that are linked up with TruPowur are blessed because you're always looking for innovative things to bring to your network, things that can make people's lives better, save money, and just do good. So I applaud you for always finding really cool things to introduce your folks to. And from my perspective, this is one of the most innovative thing that I've seen in my 52 years of breathing on Earth. And the reason why is because, a little bit about my history is I started off in the financial world with Merrill Lynch. For 10 years, I worked as a financial analyst. And I started to specialize in buying and selling small businesses, $5 to $20 million, right? And there was an older gentleman, 87-year-old husband and wife team. They had built a Motorola two-way radio, service center and sales center in Annapolis, Maryland. And they had towers, repeaters, things that would help the police and fire and stuff to communicate with the walkie-talkies. And he called me up and said, Ed, I want you to sell my company because I'm 87 and I don't have an exit strategy and maybe you can find a buyer. So I said, you know what, let me go take a look. And I looked at the business, and the business was spinning off $3 to $5 million of revenue every year with minimal overhead. And I said to myself, I'd be a fool not to buy this business because I know what he wants for it, and it's a very fair price. So I went down and I said, I'll make this easy for you. I'll be the buyer and I'll give you the exact price that you want, and no haggling, no nothing. So he said, great, worked out beautifully. And it just so happened I was lucky because a company called Nextel Communications was really starting to launch heavily into the walkie-talkie cellular model, which was kind of eating away at Motorola, but I saw it and grabbed a hold of it. And one of our jobs was to actually go help build the network out for Nextel, where we had to put cell phone towers up, repeater networks to build the coverage area. Because, they say if you build it, they will come. Well, the goal was to build this network of coverage, and then we could sell cell phones and load up that whole system that we just spent millions to build. So we did. We participated in building it. We went to, a good example would be, we'd go to 100 farmers that had farmland. We'd knock on their doors and ask them if we could put a repeater tower on their property, pay them $20,000 a month for 5 years, and then $5,000 in perpetuity. So you'd be amazed, in 2000, 99 of the 100 farmers would chase us off their property with a pitchfork, but one said yes. Okay. Now you fast forward to 2021, all those farmers are calling in every day saying, can you do that deal for me? Can you put a cell phone tower? And it's over. That opportunity was there, but it's no longer there now. So about 2 months ago, a good friend of mine who I trust and I really admire and respect called me up and said, Ed, about building networks and coverage. I want you to take a look at this company called Helium, and I want you to tell me what you think. So I started digging into Helium, started looking at it, and what these guys were doing was genius. Nextel, they invested billions of dollars to the tune of $30-40 billion to build their network out. Verizon, probably twice that. AT&T, same thing. They got investors, they went to Wall Street, they raised the money, and they build the networks out, and now they have a machine of revenue. This company, Helium, is willing to pay to build their network out, but they're willing to pay us, the people. Okay. So it's not one big company. It's actually the people's network, because they're asking us to take a lo-fi hotspot box, connect it into our routers. And what's special about these lo-fi boxes, the hotspots, is that they can make the signal of Wi-Fi go 2.5 to 5 miles, about 200 times what typical Wi-Fi extenders can do right now in your home. So if you can take a lo-fi signal from your home and beam it out 2.5 to 5 miles, and then you have a neighbor, 2.5 to 5 miles away, do the same thing, those networks connect and mesh together, and they create a canopy of coverage that's consistent, it's decentralized, it's fully encrypted. So it's like the safest network out there. And it is extremely cost effective to load on the Internet of Things. All these devices right now, I'll give you an example. If you have Hertz rental car with a fleet of 500,000 vehicles across the country, they pay on average $25 a month per vehicle to monitor that vehicle, where it is at all times, how fast it's going, all that kind of stuff, because they have to do it with a designated cellular device that is stored in the vehicle on an unlimited plan, maybe $25 a month. So if you think about what we're doing, we can take a chip, put it in the car, same exact thing, so it doesn't compromise any of the service, for $1 a month. So first of all, the efficiencies of cost reduction for companies now, but then to envision what other things are going to be invented and put onto the Internet of Things. We can't even comprehend what they are, because they haven't even been invented yet. So this company Helium was founded in 2013 by Sean Fanning, who was the founder of Napster. Now, Napster, back in the day, was a company that changed the entire music industry forever. Okay. He did peer-to-peer file sharing. Now, granted, it was considered a fail for Sean Fanning because he didn't know how to monetize it, and he didn't have the record licensing contracts and all that stuff. So he changed an industry, but he ultimately failed, and Apple and companies, capitalized on it. Well, in 2013, he heard a need from all these big companies to create a Wi-Fi network that could cover every square inch of the country and eventually the globe. And he said, there's only one way to do that, and that's by incentivizing people to host a hotspot in their house. You can't just give them something and try to say that there's some benefit to it. You have to actually incentivize them to take care of that hotspot, to actually put it in the perfect position in your home, to generate income. So by merely us, the people, hosting a hotspot at our home, we're generating income from the helium. Because what's happening is when we put in that hotspot, it's connecting and communicating with other hotspots, proving the coverage. And because of that, every single day it has to go out there and work and prove the coverage. It's mining helium coins. That's how we get compensated. So on average right now, there's about 75,000 hotspots in the United States. There's estimated to be about 30 million to be able to cover the United States. So we're in the very beginning stages of this massive growth. But on average, the average hotspot is generating about 100 tokens or coins every single month. Okay, so if you took all 75,000 of them on average, there's about 100 coins per month that are being generated. And you look at the price of helium right now, it's about $12 to $13. So if I have a box that's generating 100 coins a month at $12, that's $1,200. That's a pretty good incentive to host a hotspot. So fast forward to 3 months ago when I was really introduced to this company, iHub Global, which is an affiliate program. And this affiliate program is a way that people can get these boxes for free, doesn't cost them anything. They host the box in their home, and the company that's giving the box away is willing to give up 40% of what the actual the hotspot produces. And they have an incentive to have you share it with other people. And if they come on as affiliates and host it, then you get an override of 10% on what those boxes or hotspots produce. So you couldn't imagine a more passive residual income than just helping the people's network build and it's built for the people by the people. That's one of the things that I love about it, because with Nextel, I did all that work. I loaded it up. I spent millions. I made millions. But at the end of the day, Nextel sold their company to Sprint, and Sprint agreed to pay us out for 36 months on all the work that we'd done. But ultimately, it wasn't ours. We had no control over what was going to happen. But with this, this is the people's network. You go out there and share this opportunity with others. They get a hotspot for free. They're paying for their cell phone, their internet, just a couple $100 a month just by hosting a box. And the more people you share it with, the more you can earn. So it's just a unique opportunity. The more I dig into it and the more I understand the Internet of Things, the more technical people I talk to, they all agree that this is the golden goose, if you will, for the future. And I truly believe we're in the right place at the right time. And I don't know how many times in a lifetime you can actually say you were in the right place at the right time. And if you take massive action, amazing things are coming down the pike. So
absolutely,
Matt, I know that you've done a lot of work in cultivating tools and things like that. There's nobody better than you that can get your folks trained and give them the proper ammunition that they need to go out there and share this as quickly as possible. Because, the reality is the network, it's a 3 to 5 year build, right? So there's about a 3 to 5 year opportunity to go and build the network out. Once it's built, then all of the data services flow and the revenue starts to get generated. So right now we're being rewarded to build the network, but the most fun for me, the most fun part is once the network's built, the revenue comes in, we're also participating in the revenue opportunity as well. So it's a long-term play by helping get rewarded for building. And then as it gets built, services come onto it, revenue. Every company right now is in the process of using San Francisco, the Bay Area, as a petri dish to pilot all sorts of things that we can't even imagine they're happening right now in San Francisco, because San Francisco is the first place that they decided to fully cover. So they made it a priority to get one city completely covered as quickly as possible so that the Microsofts and IBMs and all those guys could come in and pilot programs, test different services out, so that they could expand, to the United States and Canada for sure, but to the rest of the globe, because the Internet of Things on Helium is going to be a global opportunity. So right now, there's, as you can imagine, a very high demand for these hotspots. You could go right now online to eBay and you could buy a box for yourself and get it next day delivered, but you're going to pay about $4,000 for that box. So, you have to really do the math on the return on investment, but we're about 3 months delayed. So people that ordered boxes 3 months ago are starting to get them now. If you go in and you register a box, register as many as you can to different addresses. Each box needs an address. You'll be in the queue for shipping, so you can expect to get your box, and you're not going to have to pay for it. And you're going to be able to participate in this network, which is pretty amazing. The amount of money that you can actually make here. So, for free, you host a box and you make a couple $100 a month. And if you share it with other people, there's unlimited amounts of income that you can make, both short-term and long-term.
You're absolutely right, Ed. Hey, thank you so much for explaining that. One thing you have to remember is right now there are only about 75,000 hotspots globally. And you need at least 30 million just to cover the United States. So you can imagine how many more you need to cover the rest of the globe. So there's a huge opportunity, and we've been charged with that opportunity to get that network in place as quickly as possible. And it is just growing exponentially. And so you have an opportunity to make really unlimited amount of passive income.
One of the things that really is appealing to me is Helium and the blockchain and crypto. I've been introduced to a lot of crypto stuff over the years. And when I ask the people, like, what's behind the coin? What does it do? What's the big picture? I rarely get an answer that is satisfying. They just say, you know what, it's a crypto stock. It's going to go up. It's going to go crazy. I don't really know what it does, but I'm telling you, and I'm just like, I can't really get behind something that I don't understand. This was different because this had a whole business model behind it. This had a whole, what are we doing? What's the purpose of this? And it's to build out a Wi-Fi mesh network. When I got to the map, they shared the map with me so I could see where every single hotspot is right now. I can actually go in, all of us can go in and look at the map, see exactly where these hotspots are, and you can actually click on each of the hotspots and you can find out how many coins has it generated in the last 24 hours, how many in the last 30 days. What are the other hotspots nearby? It's 100% transparent. And I know that, Matt, I asked my brother Jim to come on. He's in a car driving to Nantucket Island because Nantucket's 17 by 3.5. His goal is to try to get the whole island with hotspots. So he's taken a week to go up there to do that and kind of map it out. But he's really become very good at navigating the tools that Helium provides to be able to show how simple it is to create a hotspot and how lucrative it is. So Jim, tell me.
Yeah, Ed, can you hear me? Can you hear me good?
Great.
Yeah, great. So guys, let me tell you the story of, Ed kind of told you how we heard about Helium and the whole thing, and we were just amazed by it. I called a friend of mine who is he's a guy who specializes in blockchain technology and cryptos. He's a speaker for Bloomberg. He's an authority in the space. And I said, if anybody knows what's going on with Helium, it would be Doug Borden. So I called Doug Borden. Eddie, if you can, zoom into that Jersey Shore area, if you can. And I asked Doug, I said, Doug, have you heard of Helium? And he gave me a little chuckle and he says, oh, boy, do I know about Helium. He says, I bought my first mining machine in November of 2019. He said, we quickly learned by like January, February that you need more than one. So he said he got another business partner from another town. Yeah, that's the area. Zoom into that, like where the elbow kind of, another partner, and collectively between the two of them, they got about, right in there. Zone in that. There's two little areas there. Eddie, zoom in a little bit more. One is around Rumson, Red Bank, New Jersey, and the other is a little bit further south down the shore. So this area right here that Eddie, you came a little bit too far, but this little area right here is, Doug, my friend, he owns about half of these boxes. Over the past year and a half, he's been going and getting friends to just host them and, plug them in. It's really easy. It takes less than 3 minutes. I installed 2 yesterday. It's literally less than 2 minutes. Plug them in, connect them to the Ethernet or the Wi-Fi, and you're basically good to go. So Eddie, watch, click on any one of those. When you go to this, and I encourage everybody to go here on your own and kind of play around, look for your area. But it's explorer.helium.com. But once you click on one, do you got one, Eddie, handled?
Yep.
You can see. No, hit it again so you can see where the details. Oh yeah, hit the view hotspot details. So what this does is every single one, Eddie mentioned there's 75,000 of these out there. So if you look at this one, so you're going to get the details. You see all those yellow things that are happening there, those yellow lines? Well, that's a process that's happening that's proving coverage. So the first thing, Eddie, I want you to do is go down to the rewards. Let's just see what this one's making, right? Because we can see, all right, so this one made 4.35 HNT yesterday. HNT was about almost $13, $12, somewhere in between. Call it $12. So 4 times 12 it's like $50 that made yesterday. You can see that in the last 30 days, it made 75 HNT. So 75 times 12 that's like $900 or something to that effect. And you can see every day it makes them.
You know what? It was out for a couple of days.
It was out for a couple of days there. Yeah. So Eddie, if you hit rewards, or not rewards, but activity, I kind of love this because this really kind of just explains it. Scroll down a little bit. So there's 4 things that these hotspots do, right? The first thing that they do is where you see those green ones, it says POC challenge, right? That means proof of coverage challenge. So those 75 machines are randomly pinging each other saying, hey, you say you're online, but prove it to me. And the way they prove it is they do what's called a beacon, right? You can see right underneath that, the beacon. Well, when the thing challenges you, you put a beacon out, which is just a signal to say to anybody who's listening, hey, I'm here. Well, if somebody can hear that ping, you see the witnesses. Those are what those yellow lines are. And the more people that you witness and the more people that witness you, the more money you make. So when you click, Eddie, right above beacon there, it says a dollar amount. I can't really see it on here. So for that, right? That was this morning at 11 o'clock, right? It all happened kind of how it happens every day. These machines are challenged. When they get challenged, they raise their hand, they put their signal up saying, hey, I'm here. And then a bunch of other people say, hey, I agree, he's definitely here. That's proof of coverage, right? That's going to happen for the next 3 to 5 years as this coverage gets built out. And then in 3 to 5 years is when you're going to start seeing a transition going from the proof of coverage phase to the mining the data, right? Like you saw in that video, when a car comes through your little thing and it has to report to GM that it needs a brake line, whatever the case may be. There's hundreds, thousands of things that are going to be using that. Well, then the money is going to shift. We're going to get paid for mining that data, right? And getting that data to the proper place. And by doing that, right, when you mine data, a car comes through and you get the information, et cetera. Well, that is proving coverage by itself, right? The coverage will pretty soon be self-fulfilled because the mining will kind of take that. So that's pretty much a high level overview, but I highly recommend that you go to explorehelium.com. You can pick on any one of these at random. You'll see that some of them are making a lot hit rewards on these. You'll see that there's no two boxes that are alike. There's no two locations that are the same, right? So every box is going to be unique in what it does. The magic is if you just put one box out in the middle of the woods somewhere, it's not going to be able to communicate with anybody. It's only going to make a little bit of money, right? It'll just make a little bit. The minute that you get 5, 6, 8, 10 of these units around you, they all start talking to each other and you kind of own the coverage in that market, forever. So we kind of have a strategy that we like to talk about. It's kind of like the 6 or 8 pack, I guess you could call it, right? The 6 pack in theory is you reserving a box for your home and then trying to find 5 or 10 neighbors in your vicinity, right? Not right next door to you, but 4 houses away and then 16 houses away and then 4 blocks away, right? But if you get a little cluster of 10 around your town, you could own your town forever on this. They will constantly, and these are all people that you probably know. So wouldn't it be great to, share with a couple $100 with all of your friends, right? And then obviously, when they get it, they're going to want to encourage 5 of their friends, right? So it's just going to keep on going and snowballing.
Yeah. So as Jim was saying, he's on his way up to Nantucket right now. Okay. He's going over to a place called Pocomo in Nantucket, which is right over here. If you can see my thing, he's going to install a hot zone there. And there's 2 zones right now already in Nantucket. We'll get a couple more zones up there, but this will be a nice coverage for an island. It's a great little experiment that we're doing too, because we have ties to the island from history with our family. But this is the hexagon. You can put in any address and it'll tell you that your house is right here in the middle, right? If you put your address in, helium.place. And then your goal is not to have any other spots inside this little helium hexagon, the red part. Your goal is to put it right outside of the red part. So that's the perfect distance for the efficient mesh of the Wi-Fi network. So like this right here, perfect in position to this right here. This one here, not so well. Actually, this one's a box. There's right close by to this address. So it would take away some of the production because the boxes are duplicating an effort. So the goal is to have them, just outside of the area. But it's another.
Eddie, zoom out in Nantucket so you can see the whole island. Right, just zoom out so you can see the water all the way around it. Because what's really cool about a place like Nantucket, and using this as an example, that is, even though it's an island, it's very defined, the borders of it clearly. Well, two things. One is, you know, from here, because you're going over water, some of these might reach Boston and Providence, right? They just will, and that will be awesome if it does. But more importantly, if you look at this little island, it's 3 miles by 17. And I think that will be able to accommodate probably about 100 to 150, maybe 200 boxes, right? So think about your town. Most towns are about 3 miles by 17. If you take that square mileage, they're, you know, that's pretty much a typical town. So a typical town is going to be able to handle, you know, 100 to 300, depending on the size of these little hotspots, you know, placed properly. So if you look at Nantucket, and if you have 100 boxes placed on that island, and each box is making, you know, $1,000 a month, well, that's $100,000 that the system is paying us for proof of coverage. Well, if you think about what Verizon and AT&T and those guys have to pay every month to maintain their lines, it's 10 times that, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why this system is going to be able to charge $1 for what people are used to paying 25 for today, because it's just a much more economical system. And one is primarily because it's being hosted by the people. It's not being hosted by, you know, guys that are there, you know, 30 years and they're up to making $115 an hour with the unions and the pensions, right? Those guys, when you go drive by a Verizon crew, first of all, there's never one person. There's usually always like 3 and 2 trucks. There's like 5 people. That one little project that they're out there doing, if you add it up, it's like that costs like $30,000 for a half a day for 5 people, right? With the trucks and everything else. It's crazy. So I think we're in a pretty special place, Ed.
Yep, I agree. So, and, you know, the folks at TruPowur, you know, are in a great spot because Matt, you know, one thing I know about Matt is he's one of the best, like, trainers, and putting together tools that people can use. And this, you think about this, you know, whatever you're doing, other services with TruPowur, you host a box or host a hotspot and just get 50 other people to do the same thing. You're going to find that if you have 50 other people doing the same thing, it's 80%. 20% are going to say, oh my gosh, I get this. And they're going to go get other people to host boxes. And anything that happens that you were directly responsible for that comes from that, there's compensation for that. So it's a really unique thing. And, you know, the fact that Matt's bringing it to everybody is a very cool strategy that's going to benefit everybody who's on this Zoom today. That's for sure.
We're going to be bringing some automation tools. In fact, you're looking at this map, which is fantastic with the helium.place, but we actually have a proprietary software that is going to be launched to everybody that's involved with us, that you'll be able to not only do the same things that you were seeing Ed do here online, but you're going to be able to track all of your boxes, be able to go in there and look at your commissions, be able to track everything, and even really go down to a 3D scale of a city, so you can see the hikes of the businesses, the buildings, and everything else. And it will actually tell you where you need to place the next box. And so it's going to help you in your marketing efforts. And that's kind of some of the things that we kind of pride ourselves in with TruPowur, is being innovative and having that kind of technology available for everybody. So take advantage of it. I wanted to play a quick clip that we had a meeting with corporate the other day.
We have the opportunity in front of us to do something extraordinary. And what I mean by that is that, you know, there have been a number of billion-dollar entities built, you know, billion-dollar companies built over the decades. Microsoft did it in a little over 9 years, right? It took them to hit $1 billion. Excel Communications, my good friend Steve Smith and Kenny Trout, took Excel to over $1 billion in 7+ years. Google did it in 6+ years. Facebook did it in 4+ years. Groupon did it in 2+ years. And I think we have the opportunity, and I think we're poised because of some extraordinary circumstances that will catapult us into those record books. I think we can do it in a year, guys. I really honestly think we can do it in a year, that $1 billion become a $1 billion market cap company. And here to kick off iHub Global 2.0 is my good friend, Rick Cotton. So Rick, why don't you take it away, buddy?
But we're excited. This is iHub 2.0. A lot of our VIPs, certainly our advisory board, is aware of what's going on. And we want to let everybody in on the new track, if you would, that we're running on. So I want to give you guys some information. I know there's going to be a lot of questions tonight. There's going to be a lot of things to fill in. John's here. John Krim is with me as well. And he's working in the home office this week with us. And he's setting up some training schedules for you. You already see him in the back office. And you guys can see probably some of these pigs that we got right here. And we're going to give a few of these away. So we want to encourage you guys that if you register for our training next week and show up, we're going to give away a couple of pigs. Just because we want you guys to have all the information of what we're going to go over here. So we know there's going to be questions. We're not going to open it up for questions. We have over 680 people on here right now. We'll probably get to close to 1,000. So it's not really a great environment for that. But we're going to run through this information, then give you guys the venues that you guys can get the information. So 2.0, the big challenge in the world of helium is the availability of miners. We know that. There's huge demand. There's estimates of 250,000 today. I heard of 500,000 back orders and miners. And so everybody's looking for this inventory. And Chuck, you alluded to this. We've kind of got in a very fortunate position really early on. We looked at this as we vetted this out, as we said, hey, is this a perfect fit for an opportunity? And we decided it was, and we put the affiliate program together. But the availability of miners has been a struggle. It's been a struggle for everybody, and the demand continues to grow. And so that's the problem that we have right now. It's the challenge that we have. And it's not just a challenge for us, but it's everybody. Chuck, you mentioned our growth. This is our affiliate growth right here. This last slide was actually, as of today, our first day of the month, and this has already changed by 300 or 400 people, I believe, this last orange. So you can see the projection continues to grow up. You guys are doing an incredible job referring people, building the affiliate model, and we expect to be over 100,000 affiliates by September 1st. And that might be very, very conservative. And there's a real chance that we could be at 1 million people or 500,000 by the end of the year, just based on the growth that we have right now. So you can see now the challenge that we have. We have all this demand for miners. The supply channels are clogged up. We know from our intel and from our, working with directly on the ground, probably not going to see relief yet. 18 months. And so we're going to continue to have challenges in that area, as everybody else is. But we've positioned ourselves to secure over 100,000 miners. We've talked about that. We'll give you guys some more intel on that probably in the next week or so. So we have a lot of inventory coming in. We're going to dominate the landscape. And we've worked hard with our partners to look for, chips over here and Raspberry Pis over here to try to bring that into the affiliate network. And that's what we're doing right now. And so we have a lot of summer inventory coming, and we have even more of inventory coming in the fall and for first quarter next year. But there's no way, it's an impossibility to be able to deliver the amount of miners in demand, even in our network as we grow. Okay, so that's a real challenge for us, and we've taken a hard look at that. So another big challenge in the world of helium is driving profitability, and I think this is where we really excel. We know that the physical location of these miners will determine how we earn, how much HNT that we earn. And our model has really proven to lead the marketplace. And now we're going to bring a tool to that marketplace. It's really a game changer. So we really want to go forward as we deploy the limited amount of miners that we have. It's granted 100,000 plus miners that we have in the next 6 to 9 months. How are we going to do that and maximize the profitability for not only for the company, for you guys as well? And we certainly excelled in that so far. So let's look at some data to really vet that out. This is the field. This is the helium as a field. This is the average HNT earned. And you can kind of see the growth curve here. It starts off a little slow, and after 90 days, it picks up. You're at 1.6. And this is kind of taken from a batch of people that are kind of in a little bit of direct competition with us. So we want to kind of elevate their data against ours. Now, this is our data, okay? This is our data. So this is the green line here. So we're, I don't know, John, what was it, 30 or 40% higher than the field, just by what we've done so far. That's comparing about 2,300 miners that we have deployed with 2,300 miners in the field from a specific data set. So you can see you guys are already doing a phenomenal job. And again, the goal of what we're doing is all about mining. Everybody? Mine HNT. And so that's what we really want to do, is want to focus on that. How do we maximize the inventory that we have? How do we do that? And so the last slide I'm going to show you guys is, this is our VIP or our 6-pack strategy. And this is as high as 300 to 400% higher than the field. And all we can do is say hats off to the VIPs, the guys that are out there driving the 6-packs, and the model that we said, hey, listen, early on, when Chuck and I said, hey, are we going to do this? Because we debated, we said, we want to do this ourselves, we want to create an opportunity. And it was really no question about it. We wanted to create an opportunity for all the people that have been with us for years and years in our 30-year plus careers in this industry. And so we created the opportunity, but we didn't do it before we figured it out. We didn't do it before we went out in the field and built a 6-pack strategy. And we realized with 6 miners in anywhere, doesn't matter if you're in the North Pole, with the reward system right now, we're not talking about data, but the reward system right now, you can maximize those miners. And that's what we did. And those miners still to this day are some of the best at 250 to 300 HNT a month. But at the time, we were 300 to 400, as high as 600 a month HNT with just those original 6 miners. We did that with my good friend Dave and a lot of great people down here in Vero Beach, Florida, and we modeled that. And now I think we're 120 miners in Vero, and it's just hubbing it out. And that was a lot of hard work. I'm not saying that was going to be easy. That was a lot of hard work. We moved a lot of miners. We put up a lot of antennas. We measured height. We looked for best locations. It was a lot of hard work. I know our good friend Scott Tunis, he always says the heavy lifting is going out there and finding the miners. Well, we're about to change the game with that. So every one of our affiliates can compete at that level and get this placement that we're looking for. So these numbers are staggering. And again, hats off to our VIPs and the guys out there building the 6-pack. We are dominating the field. We're absolutely dominating the field. But we're going to take it even higher. And so I want to play this video for you guys, because this is kind of an intro to where we're going next.
Do you know who owns your wireless network? Most likely, some ginormous big brand tech company with stacks and stacks of moolah. Well, what if you were able to own part of a similar network, which is growing constantly every day? It's called the Internet of Things, or IoT network. Heard of it? It powers billions of all those helpful things like our beautiful smart devices, life-saving medical sensors, security monitors, remote tracking devices, and the list goes on. So now you know you could help power all that and get paid for it in helium, which is a form of cryptocurrency. You know the digital currency that's super secure because it's kept in an online fortress of solitude called blockchain technology? But you might have known that. And all that happens from this one little device called a helium hotspot you can get from iHub Global. All you do is plug it in and start earning or mining helium automatically, which goes directly into your account. Simple as that. You basically earn money by doing practically nothing, so you can afford to spend more time with who's important to you. Earnings vary based on where you live, and iHub will show you simple ways to track how much you earn every day. You can also bring in your family and friends to earn more as an affiliate. And they'll earn too while we build the biggest network in the world together. And eventually, your earnings go even higher and higher with our shared hosting plan. Okay, then why iHub Global, you ask? Because it's free to start. Our mission is growing the network by more of us owning the network. We'll do it together with simple training on the basics. We'll also show you simple earning strategies to grow. By using our proprietary app called Helium Track, you can track your hotspots and run virtual simulations to place free hotspots in the best locations to further expand your network of affiliates and earnings. Who knew owning this network could be so easy? So if you're ready, let's grow together with
Guys, basically, we're going to an entire different model. We're pivoting to a free model. So going forward, probably sometime this summer, all the miners are going to be free coming out of iHub. And we're going to be able to control our growth. And we're going to be able to have the best placement in the industry, which we already have. And we're going to be able to use our new software application to drive that model. And I've asked Eric Eric Z is our newest member of the corporate team, to come on and talk to us a little bit today and just talk to a little high level. I know some of you guys have seen the application, but Eric, are you with us?
I am.
All right, good. And we now are implementing our marketing software, our marketing IP into it as well. And this is the thing that's going to really drive us. And so as we talked about our backstory, doing this Vero Beach model, these 6-packs, and you guys have adopted that, the numbers show that we're leading the field. And that's one of the reasons why we're getting so much attention, from the distribution channels and getting the access to the miners, because of the work that you guys are doing. And so now we're making it available to everybody, because really when you see the software, when you understand where we're pivoting to, it's a game changer. It really is. And so I've asked Eric to come on and talk a little bit about, there's so much tracking here. He's going to give us a real high level here on the tracking, the intelligence that's built in here. But really what I want him to focus on more than anything is the virtual mining assessment, where you literally can plot out addresses and run virtual mining assessments like a miner was sitting right there and simulate earnings, profitability in that mining assessment, and then also deliver that to somebody. So Eric, come on and just share a little bit about what you see, where we're going with this mining assessment.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Rick. First of all, nice to see everybody on here. So as far as the Helium track goes, we really wanted to deliver an all-inclusive platform that not only gives you full visibility, lets you kind of look at any region or area and fully understand it in a single glance. Helium track shows you more data than any other app out there, and really gives you really good insight into what's going on. But further than that, from analytics and analyzing any location, we wanted to give you the tools to be able to also oversee your hotspots, monitor your hotspots, and along with that, find good placements that will really help you guys be successful. So this app is really a tool not only to learn, but to drive success, to help you guys be out there and execute to because at the end of the day, spending the time to figure out those 6-pack models, as Rick said, it's a ton of work and it can take a long time, but really, delivering these tools to you guys, having you out there hustling is really the goal. That's how we're going to grow this network, and being able to give you the tools to do that is really going to help. And, more than that, we wanted to build in some marketing aspects into this app. And so what we plan on doing, which we're very hard at work on right now, I think we're a couple weeks out at least, but we're working as hard as possible. We want to give you guys a tool, an in-app funnel that literally you'll be able to run mining assessments on, potential prospects, locations. So if you have a friend or, a family member, they might have a good location because the app has told you so, which is already a huge start. And you want to share that with them. You really want to relay that message and say, hey, bud, or hey, cousin, you have a really great location. And so you create a mining assessment report, and you can just send it to them via email or via text, or print it out and bring it to them and really show them that, hey, you have a great location. You can start earning right now. And as Rick said, with this free model that's coming up, I can think of no better marketing and selling tool than both of those together. So, with all these things coming up, we're doing everything we can to give you guys the tools to be successful and to be out there to, hustling and executing, which is, what we're all here to do. So we're very happy to do that.
Guys, exciting stuff. And we wanted to kind of give you a snapshot of where we're going. And the reason we wanted to do that is because if you guys have miners on order, if you guys have 6-packs on order and you don't want to do that and you want to wait for the free model, you certainly can do that. But there's a huge advantage of getting those miners, because there's going to be one slight adjustment in the compensation plan, right? The slight adjustment is that we are now going to be the host. We're going to host the miners. We're going to buy all the miners, and we're going to deploy them to you guys based on the software, based on the scoring system that Eric just kind of briefly showed you. And in that process, guys, it's going to go to 40%. It was an owner's commission. Now it's going to be a hosting commission, right? A super hosting commission. So everything else stays the same. We're going to have all the codes, all the matching bonuses, everything else is going to stay the same. However, the boxes that you have, the boxes that you purchase, the VIP boxes, the boxes that are on order right now, if you have one of those boxes, that's going to be coded to 50%. Nothing changes with those boxes. And so you can deploy those boxes, and we're going to backfill with free boxes behind it. You take that box back, you plant it again. You take that box back, you plant it again. So there's a huge advantage to having your own inventory, whether that's 6 boxes, 2 boxes, or you're a VIP with 50 boxes. And I know all the VIPs understand that, because we've been sharing this information with them for some time now as they buy the boxes. So, but this is the only time that we'll ever sell boxes on this last PO. So you guys are going to have something in your back office. You're going to have several options, okay? If you have boxes on order, you can cancel that order for a full refund, no questions asked, and you can put your name in the hat for a free box, a free miner, okay? And this is coming right around the corner. The gap between delivering the boxes on order and the free boxes is not that big. It really isn't. And so you have that option. If you have a 6-pack order and you want to change that to a single order, just one box and get that deployed and not pay the difference that you owe, that's an option as well. That'll be an option for you, okay? And if you want to just take your 6-pack order and stay with it, you're more than welcome to do that as well. You're going to get an email, and that's probably just about a week out. We're going to start collecting the funds on those because we're about ready to start shipping those 6-pack orders. So exciting stuff, guys. I know it's a lot of information, and that's why we set up in the back office. There's a training on Tuesday at 4 o'clock Eastern. We're going to record that. We'll get it out to you guys. On Tuesday, we're going to break down the compensation, the tweaks in the compensation plan. We're going to focus on that. On Thursday, we're going to focus more on the software. Okay, Eric and his team are going to come in and start. And by next week, Eric, I think we're going to have some beta testers. Is that true, or am I putting you on the spot?
No, that's very true.
Okay, all right, good deals. So some of you guys are going to be invited, the VIPs and advisory board are going to be able to beta test. And our launch is, correct me if I'm wrong, is July 17th is our official launch, okay? And at that point, we'll be pivoting to the whole new sign-up process, using the software. Everything's going to run through the new application. We are becoming a SaaS model, software as a service. And oh, by the way, we give away free boxes, okay? So when you run these virtual assessments on an address, I know you quite can't get it yet, how powerful it is, but it's basically going to do all the work for you. If I have my cousin, I'm going to go call my cousin up and say, hey, Joey, I'm doing this this mining stuff. I'm going to run a virtual assessment on your address and deliver it to you. Is that all right with you? Absolutely. I run that assessment. It gives him a score. I can deliver it through email, through text. I can print it out and put it in his hands. And so, oh, by the way, Joey, it's free. It's free. So, you know, this is already the easiest thing I've ever built and shared with anybody. Now that the miners are free, I mean, the sky's the limit, guys. And so our only job is to supply as many miners as we can as you guys go out there and do the work. Basically, what you VIPs, you guys building a 6-pack have already done, proven in the field. Now we're making that available through the software that anybody can do this. And it's really that good. It's a game changer. Use it as much as you want, and you can deploy as many free boxes as you want. And for you guys that are in the know, I'm going to give you one more tidbit, all right, to get you excited tonight, is now with this new model, with us hosting the boxes out, hosting the miners out on your behalf, they now qualify you in the plan, okay? So now the hosting program, when you're hosting, it doesn't qualify you. They're a different customer type. Now we can qualify you in the plan. So you can actually give away boxes and climb your way to gold.
So that's fantastic news. So, you know, you can't really get any better than that. And I would challenge every single one of us to take the time and really get 25 of those and implement those and get those set up. And especially once you get the software here in the next few weeks, it's going to help you really drive that home. But you have an opportunity to make some significant amount of passive income. And it's not difficult to install these things. I mean, plug it into the wall. It uses about $5 worth of electricity a year. And, you know, plug it into your router or connect it with Wi-Fi. And so I want to open up the floor. I want to thank Ed and Jim for being on the call with us today. Ed had to take off to another appointment. Appreciate him taking the time to be with us today. And his brother, Jim. Well, we had a good call.
Yes.
And I appreciate everybody taking time out of their Saturday. And want to wish everybody a happy and safe 4th of July. God bless, and we will have the recording available for you as soon as it's rendered and uploaded to the network, and then we'll post a link to it for you.